I know you're trying to avoid spending big bucks on a set of speakers that might not fit your room, and you want to be sure the R605FA lives up to the hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's walk through whether this klipsch floor stander actually delivers the immersive experience you're looking for without turning your living space into a sound lab. When you step into the world of high-performance home theater speakers, the first question is always, will it integrate with what I already have? Most people upgrading from a basic bookshelf pair are looking for that extra punch and bass, clearer dialogue, and, if they're after Atmos, a way to get height channels without adding separate upward-firing modules. The R605FA tries to hit all those points in one cabinet, which is why it's worth a deeper look before you click Add to Cart. The most noticeable design element is the built-in elevation driver. Klipsch calls it a Dolby Atmos-ready speaker, and in practice it means you get a dedicated upward-firing element that sits right on top of the woofer array. Instead of mounting a separate dome speaker on the ceiling or tacking a pair of upward-firing modules onto a bookshelf, this model handles the height cues from the same enclosure. For a typical 5.1 plus Atmos setup, that translates into fewer cables, a cleaner look, and a smoother calibration process with most AVRs. Placement is where theory meets reality. The cabinet measures over 3 feet tall and has a rear tractor port that needs at least a couple of inches of clearance behind it to breathe. In a small apartment, you'll quickly discover that pushing the speaker against a wall or tucking it into a corner can mute the horn-loaded mid-range and introduce unwanted bass boom. I've seen owners who place the speakers a foot away from the side walls and angle them slightly inward. The result is a tighter soundstage that lets the Atmos driver project overhead reflections without the room swallowing them. If you have a dedicated theater room with a raised platform or a few feet of space behind the front wall, the R605FA can really shine. Sound performance is where the horn-loaded architecture shows its pedigree. The 9090mm Tractrix horn on the mid-bass driver delivers a quick, focused response that feels more like a live instrument than a typical sealed woofer. The Spun-copper, thermoformed crystalline polymer woofers add a punchy low end, but they stop just short of the deep sub-frequencies you'd expect from a true subwoofer. In practice, you'll feel that thump during an explosion in an action film. Yet you might still want a separate 8-inch sub to fill out the 20 to 30 Hz range for true home theater bass immersion. The linear travel suspension aluminum tweeter, paired with a Kapton membrane, offers a smooth high-frequency sweep that makes dialogue crystal clear and preserves the sparkle in a high-resolution music track without the shrillness some other horn-loaded tweeters produce. One of the strongest practical benefits is the reduction in extra hardware. Because the elevation driver is built in, you eliminate the need for ceiling or upward-firing modules, which can save both money and for everyday use. The biggest question is not just whether Klipsch reference next are 605FA Dolby Atmos high-performance, horn-loaded floor-standing speaker for best-in-class immersive home theater in black has impressive specs, but whether those specs match the way you actually plan to use it. In the speaker category, buyers should compare the headline features against their daily routine, setup space, compatibility needs, and how often they will use the product after the first week. The strongest reasons to consider it are tied to these verified details. Built-in elevation speaker, all-new 90 by 90 Tractrix horn, linear travel suspension, LTS, aluminum tweeter with Kapton suspension, Spun-copper thermoformed crystalline polymer woofers. Those points matter because they affect the real buying decision after the excitement of the product page is gone. If those are the exact things you need, this becomes a much easier product to justify. On the positive side, the useful buyer signals are the main strengths shown in the listing. That does not mean it is perfect for everyone, but it does mean the product has a clear use case. The best buyer is someone who already knows they want those strengths and is not just shopping by the lowest price.